on sport today.
Prime Minister, was there any particular reason none of the ACT party leaders or David Seymour was at the Bilateral with you today?
No, it was just about having relevant ministers that were there, and it's also just, as you know, these formal bilaterals, it's about matching up, and we had all the ministers that were involved in moving the agenda forward with the Indian side as well. So no, it was a really good set of ministers, and they've got good familiarity with their counterparts. Some weren't here today, obviously, but they know India well, and they've been advancing those agendas.
The foreign minister wasn't here. I mean, are you, given his perspective on the India free trade agreement, are you happy that Mr. Peters was not in the country today?
Well, as I said the other week, I mean, it's a leader-to-leader visit. Prime Minister Modi hosted me in India as a leader-to-leader. I did the same here. It's quite normal. The foreign minister and I are not always together. In fact, on major bilaterals, I don't think we have been together that I can think of off the top of my head. So it's quite normal. It's a leader-to-leader, and it's my chance to host him here and reciprocate the generosity and the hosting that he gave us last year.
Did the Middle East come up at all in your talks? Did the Middle East situation come up?
Yeah, we did. We both talked about the impact on the Iranian conflict in particular, and we talked about the pain and suffering that's causing people all around the world, and the more that we both make the case for upholding and abiding by the MOU that's been agreed, importantly, resolving the conflict and getting to a place where we can get those ships moving, and so that our people aren't feeling at the pain that they're feeling at the moment. And that's a common conversation I've had with many leaders actually over recent months as well, and again the same thing here.
Prime Minister, with the naval exercises that you'll be sharing, are you able to expand on what's happening there, and will there be any plans for interoperability between them?
Look, I mean, we probably have different kit, but I mean, we started last year actually. We had what's called Command Task Force 150, and we were the commanders of that, and we had a deputy commander from India, and that was a very successful collaboration as we then passed off to the Indians to take command after our turn. But I just think there's a good opportunity for us to exercise together, to build familiarity with each other, for our staff and personnel to have exchanges, so they build those relationships between our militaries. And so, yeah, we're at one end of the Indo-Pacific, they're at the other end of the Indo-Pacific. We have different perspectives from where we sit in the Indo-Pacific region around what's in our immediate vicinity, and sharing that information is really important.
Where would you expect those sorts of exercises to happen? Would it be the Indian Ocean or Pacific?
Oh, well, the last one we did was in the Indian Ocean, but we'll do that wherever it needs to, and our teams will now build that out and think about whether there's exercises that happen here in New Zealand, in India, or elsewhere.
Are you
Modi suggested in his speech that both the countries can start with 5 flagship projects.
Yes.
Can you indicate what that can be?
No, I think it's a good challenge. He and I have challenged the business community very clearly to say, look, this is, we've done our job as government to creating the agreements, creating the FTA, creating the strategic partnership, opening up the doors and creating the conditions for more relationship between our two great countries. And we also wanted to challenge the business leaders by saying, hey, listen, you guys, let's focus on some things that we can work together on. We talked a lot in the business forum about AI and technology. Obviously, it's a huge transformative piece that's needed for New Zealand and also India to lift living standards, because we can drive greater economic productivity through it. But we also talked about some of the fears around AI and how we jointly can work with together, but also with other countries, to think about the frameworks that we might be needed to support, making sure it stays in the right hands and it's safe.
Are you in the government worried at all about the escalation in the Middle East, with the US launching fresh attacks on Iran, and the way that President Trump has talked about the Iranian people and its leadership?
Yeah, look, it's very unwelcome and very concerning, as we've commented before. I mean, this has been a very fragile, very complex conflict and negotiation. Clearly, as I said, we hope for the best and plan for the worst, and we really just exhort all those parties to get and uphold the MOU that's in place, abide by it, show restraint, de-escalate, negotiate settlement, and ultimately get those ships moving. But let's be clear, this is a very volatile, fragile piece that's in place.
Sorry.
You
said you would look to join the Australia-Fiji agreement. Australia just signed a bunch of deals, including on defence with with India. You've just done the same. Do you think that all of this together is a very clear signal to China and their actions in the Pacific? And do you see more cooperation between Australia, New Zealand and India going forward, especially on defence?
It may well be. I mean, again, what you're seeing emerge in the region, and I've been a big supporter and driver of getting New Zealand into it, is what we call mini lattice works or multilateral arrangements between a small set of countries. And if you think about what we do with the IP4, for example, with Korea and Japan, Australia and New Zealand, obviously the Australians and Indians are part of the Quad. It's a different dynamic, and we're not part of that. We have trading arrangements, we have defence arrangements, and what we want to see is just a constant set of mini multi-lattice work arrangements across the region, and that's how it's in our interest, right? Because that's how we drive prosperity through security, and we don't get security without prosperity, and the two are very inextricably linked, as I've been saying for 3 years. So that's last week.
All of these different multilaterals?
No, it's just as I said, our relationships with China are the same as which we manage with many other countries, which is we cooperate where we can, we differ where we must, and we work with like-minded countries to advance our own national interests. Okay, team, thanks so much. Have a good day. See you.
Nice try.
You almost got